Welcome. It's another day of Bhagavad Gita Sadhana, and it may be one of the last days for a bit that we can be outside. The tech is cold, and actually it's a little below the temperature of 50 Fahrenheit or 10 Celsius, where I should be outside with the computer. The computer will stay inside. I'll still be outside. But if you noticed a shift in the next day or two, that will be why. Speaking of shifts, we're in chapter 11 of Bhagavad Gita, one of the pivotal chapters in the whole poem, because it's a chapter after which Arjuna will never be the same. Krishna is about to give Arjuna divine sight so that Arjuna can behold the apparently human best friend and cousin he's known all his life, Krishna. And one of the big differences between Krishna and the rest of the characters in the Mahabharata is Krishna realizes who he is. He's the calm, the eye of the storm. While everything swirls around, he is the empty space around which everything swirls. He recognizes his inner divinity that is separate from the turmoils of the material world. And no matter what happens around him, he identifies with that calm place of peace within. This is relevant today for a number of reasons. We're looking at samatvam, the ability to be yourself, no matter what. That's very hard to do, especially when, as Arjuna is going to be doing very shortly on our journey together, you have the chance to see something for what it really is, especially yourself, or, as with Arjuna, a loved one, or the world. From youth, we're brought up with ideas of what the world is and is not. And when we're confronted with evidence of the contrary, it's so hard. It's hard to let go. As human beings, actually, our brains are programmed to seek out information that reinforces what we already believe. And that's why it's so hard sometimes to change people's minds about anything. You can't change anybody else's mind but your own. And first, you have to be willing to let your mind change, to look at someone you love differently, to look at a relationship differently, to look at anything around you differently, including yourself, and then looking around you outside, but also looking around you inside. If you're doing a spiritual practice to know yourself, like we've been doing for 290 some days now, you have to be willing to bring this freshness of perspective, to see that you are more than you ever suspected you could be. This is what Arjuna's on the brink of. It's the last moment for him being merely Arjuna in this way, as he's forced to confront things and see them as they really are. So I thought we would take a little pause here on this sacred precipice and consider, what do we see with the eyes of the everyday? Like, I look at these marigolds, and now I've had them for a while. I don't even see them because I'm looking at them. I've resorted to looking and not seeing. Krishna is about to give Arjuna divine sight. So perhaps today, look around you and decide whether you want to go on looking, or if you're ready, like Arjuna, to take the jump to seeing. And today, if you wish as well, you can find something that you usually look at, someone you usually look at, a situation you usually look at, and try to see it. Krishna says he's going to give Arjuna divine sight. What really that can mean for us is he's just going to give him a whole different perspective on everything he thought he knew. But can you be ready for that? So many people go on the spiritual path to change, but when the opportunity to change arises, they're like, no, I'm not going to change. You change for me. World, you change for me. So here's your challenge for the day. I'm dedicating today's practice to Waffle. Hmm, what a lovely being Waffle must have been and still is somewhere. To Cathy, may your travels be safe. And also to some other people whose lives may be changed. Milton, Hurricane Hilton. Might be forcing people to stay at a Hilton. So they just had Helene, and now category, what is it up to now? 5. Milton is about to hit Florida again. From a distance, it's easy to go, wow, a storm. But until you're actually in it, I've been in one tropical storm once. It was not what I expected, and it was a wonderful opportunity to see instead of look. May those of you in the storm's path find safety and peace. And that goes for any of you in a storm's path. External storm, internal storm, emotional storm. May you find safety in it. Let's practice. I have the advantage when I do the practice, I can look at the camera and notice what I'm doing. Maybe today I'll try seeing what's in the camera as well. Let's change sides. Oh, that was fun. A chance to look within. So I invite you to use this next 5, not 10. How did we get 10 here? Next 5 minutes to ask yourself the question: are you content to stay looking, or are you ready to see? wonder how that time went for you. One thing that came up for me is I'm less visual than auditory, so the question arose for me also, am I ready to stop hearing and start listening? You can do that with any of your senses. We'll see. We'll see where this great journey takes us tomorrow. Until then.